नवंबर 2016 500 रुपए और 1000 रुपए के करेंसी नोट कानूनन अमान्य होगी।
But our top story tonight, this year, at around this time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi decided that the 500 and 1000 rupee currency notes would be recalled in what he claimed was a yagna to fight black money. Exactly a year later, the BJP and the Congress faced off on the streets and studios across the country. Today, the NDA celebrated the occasion as Anti-Black Money Day. The opposition observed it as Black Day. Tonight, Sachin and Jayant Sinha will be joining me on a debate. But before that, let's just take a look at how 1 year after Note Bandi, we still have a bitter political war being waged on its benefits or its losses. It's our top story tonight.
November 8th will forever be remembered as Demonetisation Day. The day 86% of currency notes were banned in 2016 to attack black money holders. But did it do the job? A year on, the country is none the wiser. It's a surgical strike the government cannot disown or back down on. The Prime Minister himself shared a video explaining the merits of demonetization.
इस बार देश ने भी ठान ली थी, काले धन के खिलाफ जमकर लड़ना है। हमने अर्जुन की तरह लक्ष्य साधा और छोटी मोटी परेशानियों को अनदेखा किया। आखिरकार काला पैसा निकला, जेबों से निकला, अलमारियों से, ड्रॉरों से निकला, पलंग के नीचे से निकला, दीवार के पीछे से निकला। इस तरह कोने कोने, चप्पे चप्पे से काला धन निकला।
Modi government fielded its top ministers to press the point. Demonetization was structural reform that was the need of the hour and not adventurous policy making. November 8th for them is Anti-Black Money Day.
कांग्रेस को तो काले धन से प्यार है। अगर आप मोदी जी का विरोध करते हैं, बार बार हार जाते हैं, आगे भी हारेंगे, तो क्या आप काले धन का समर्थन करेंगे?
The objective with which demonetization has been brought, the common people have seen the intention of the government and supported it, in fact, by putting up with the difficulties they had to face.
The Congress and other opposition parties observed it as a Black Day. Protests were held across the country, the face-off spilling out onto the streets, the fight led by opposition heavyweights.
पूरा काला धन और जीएसटी लगा के देश को बिल्कुल खून खींच लिया। खून खींच के अब बड़े बड़े लोगों का आरएसएस का पैसा, अमित शाह का बेटा का पैसा सब ऊंचा व्हाइट हो गया।
In Surat, Rahul targeted the BJP over the other blow delivered to the economy, the goods and the services tax.
नोटबंदी जो थी वो बिल्कुल गलत डिसीजन था, बिना सोचे समझे वो डिसीजन लिया गया। दूसरा डिसीजन जो था जीएसटी का, कॉन्सेप्चुअली वो खराब डिसीजन नहीं है। इंटरनेट पे जाके जीएसटी का मतलब देखें, आपको मिलेगा कि जीएसटी इज वन टैक्स, नॉट 5 टैक्सेस। मगर जब कांग्रेस पार्टी गवर्नमेंट में आएगी, हम जीएसटी को रीअसेस करके, रीस्ट्रक्चर करके आपको फिर से डिलीवर करेंगे।
We may take many more months to know if the long-term gains will make up for short-term costs like the slump in growth. But November 8th will not be forgotten for a long, long time. For this generation at least, it will be etched in their memories forever as Demonetization Day. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, while the political parties can battle it out, the fact is that demonetization did take dozens of lives. At least 100 people died while standing in a queue outside ATMs, or due to shock, or bank managers also ended up losing their lives. Take a look at the families now who are still grieving the death of their loved ones.
ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਬੈਂਕ ਦੇ ਚੱਕਰ ਕੱਟਦਿਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਆਪ ਖੁਦਕੁਸ਼ੀ ਕਰ ਲਈ।
पहले सीना में दर्द हुआ था।
अच्छा।
फिर उल्टी और दस्त।
बहुत भीड़ काफी के मारे उनका देहांत हो गया। फिर भगदड़ में गिर पड़े, वहीं पे उनका देहांत हो गया। पुलिस सब पोस्टमार्टम सब हुआ था, आज तक कोई सुनवाई नहीं हुई।
This is the ugly face of India's demonetization drive. Ranjit Kaur's life was never the same after the 8th of November 2016. She and her husband Ravindra Singh dreamt of marrying their daughter off with pomp and show due on the 5th of December 2016. But he was unable to withdraw money for the marriage after the government announced the demonetization of rupees 500 and 1000 notes. Each time he would receive not more than rupees 2000 despite having savings of rupees 6 lakh in his account. Frustrated, Ravindra Singh allegedly committed suicide. Today Ranjit and her 90-year-old father-in-law struggle to make ends meet.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੇ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਹੋਇਆ, ਨਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਨਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਡਾ ਕਰਜ਼ਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਾਡਾ ਹੁਣ ਦੂੜਾ ਸਿਰ ਤੇ ਚੜ ਗਿਆ। ਉਹ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡਾ ਲੱਥਾ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਵਾਰ-ਵਾਰ ਬੈਂਕ ਵਾਲੇ ਮੰਗ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਜ਼ਾ, ਛੋਟੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆ ਮੇਰੇ, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਜ਼ਾ ਲਾਵਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ।
The grief was similar for the Roy Chaudharys. The family claims Kalol Roy Chaudhary, a state government employee, was under tremendous stress due to lack of cash. Posted in the State Land Revenue Department in the Cooch Behar district, Roy would travel back to Kolkata every week to meet his family and then spend hours outside banks and ATMs.
নিজের টাকা নিজে তুলতে পারছিল, মানসিক চাপে ছিল, খুবই চাপে ছিল।
In Deoria, a farmer, Ramnath Kushwaha, died allegedly due to the heavy rush outside an ATM. His family is still awaiting compensation which was promised by the state government.
पैसे के चलते मेरी पढ़ाई बंद हो गई और परिवार में बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत आ गई, समस्या आ गई और रोटी रोजी भी चलाना बहुत समस्या आ गए हैं। सब कारोबार उन्हीं के करने पे था।
8 नवंबर 2016
Modi government's surgical strike on black money caused dozens of alleged deaths in the subsequent months. 1 year on, many of the kin are yet to get their lives back on track. With Amit Sharma in Amritsar, Indrajit Kundu in Kolkata and Ram Pratap Singh in Deoria, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining us on the first anniversary of demonetization for the big demo debate are two of the more articulate voices in Indian politics. I'm joined by Jayant Sinha of the Narendra Modi government, minister in the government, and by Sachin Pilot, president of the Rajasthan Congress and former minister. Appreciate both of you joining us. Is this anti-black money day or is this black day is our top focus? And I'm going to raise 5 questions with you gentlemen, and I want specific answers to each. My first question: has demonetization failed or succeeded in its main mission of targeting black money? Jayant Sinha, wasn't that the main mission of Prime Minister Modi when he announced demonetization? And when 99% of the value of demonetization notes come back, there's a question mark. Was black money really targeted? Where is the black money?
Demonetization has been a resounding success when it comes to black money. 99% of the cash is back in the banks. Now, on every note that has come in, we have an address. We have the ability to track the people who've put the money into those bank accounts, and there are some astonishing statistics. We have found that there are about 3.68 lakh crores worth of deposits that seems somewhat dubious. and that is spread out across 23 lakh accounts. We have found, in fact, that 1.5 lakh accounts account for some 5 lakh crores of all of the deposits that have come in. So remember that we essentially put out of circulation some 15-16 lakh crores, 86% of the currency in circulation. All of that has come in, and that has enabled us now to be able to track who was using the black money, how the black money was going to be used, and it is now that our investigative agencies can actually find out where the black money trail is and what we as an economy, what we as a country need to do about it. There is a corollary benefit, Rajdeep, that is also very important to recognize. Now that the money has come back into the banks, our banks are flush with deposits. And because they are flush with deposits, and these are low-cost CASA deposits as they are called, interest rates have come down, and that has of course meant that things have become more affordable, EMI have come down, the economy has gotten a boost. Money has gone into the share market is at record highs, and at the same time the banks now have the ability to subscribe to the recapitalization bank bonds that will enable us to recapitalize the banks and put them on sound footing. This is all the benefit of getting black money back into the system where it didn't belong, financializing the economy. It's been a resounding success, Rajdeep.
You know, you're sounding as if the glass is completely full at the moment, but let me put that to Sachin Pilot before I come back to specifics to you, Mr. Sinha, because this is what the government is saying today. The Prime Minister is claiming 18 lakh accounts are under scrutiny, 2.10 lakh companies have been closed, and the CBDT is scrutinizing them. I know it's a humongous number, but according to the government, these accounts are now under the scanner. To that extent, they claim their mission has succeeded in targeting black money. They have spread fear among those who held cash.
Okay, Rajdeep, first of all, I think it's amazing how much of a spin any individual can give on a monumental failure. I think I heard the Prime Minister on November 8th last year. I heard the words, Notebandi will finish terrorism, Naxalism, fake currency, and the Government of India through its Attorney General gave in Supreme Court a written affidavit saying that up to 3 lakh crores of black money will be unearthed. If all the money has gone back into the banks, where is the black money gone? And for government to claim that they now have track and trail of accounts where the money was deposited, these were mules used by very rich people to deposit their cash into the banks. The conviction rate of the income tax authorities is about 5%. So there is no way that these people can get these 20-30,000 rupees deposited by some helpers or domestic maids, etc., to track the black money. Secondly, the black money in cash is less than 10% of it. The other is in property, in gold, in jewelry, in shares. What's happened to that? The stated objective of the Notebandi, the demonetization, was that we will kill terrorism and Naxalism, etc. There is absolutely no data to suggest that demonetization has actually helped that. In fact, to my mind, demonetization has been a detrimental effect on the economy. We've come back 2% GDP points. There is the medium and small sectors have actually 50% losses in revenues. We've lost jobs, and the poor people have suffered. 140 people died standing in line trying to get their own money back.
I'll come to the specifics, but on black money, specifically on black money,
it's been a failure of a monumental scale.
No, I'll come to those other areas in a moment, but on black money, how do you respond to the government's claim? How do you respond to the government's claim that we have these 18 lakh accounts now under a scanner as a result of demonetization?
There is no way that these accounts will be scanned and scrutinized and guilty found, because these are all Jan Dhan accounts or zero balance accounts where they've got 10, 20, 30,000 rupees. And if any amount has been deposited, the history will tell you that the conviction rate is less than 5%. And you didn't have to demonetize all the currency to get these people. There were 100 other ways to target those people who had illegal cash. In fact, the money that has been undisclosed income that's been recovered till September 2017 is 28,000 crores. The previous year, there was 1,01,000 crores that was unearthed. So you don't have to attack the country and the economy with demonetization to achieve these small gains. It's like I'll solve cancer by giving a pill, and all you do is have someone reduce a headache. It's absolutely miscalculated, badly implemented, and it's hit the economy. Today, 1 year later, the repercussions of demonetization are actually hitting the poorest of the poor, the farmers, the small traders, the shopkeepers. It's those people who are suffering the most, and the government wants to celebrate. It's a huge irony to my mind that the government wants to celebrate this event.
I want to come back to you, Jayant Sinha, because, you gave me all those figures, but I can throw other figures at you. The first figure is that the Attorney General had told the Supreme Court he expected 4 to 5 lakh crores to be neutralized. Money that would not come back into the banking system would be identified as black. Finance Ministry official told reporters 3 lakh crores would not return. The fact is 99% returned. As a result, there are question marks, and Sachin Pilot is raising them. Will the Income Tax Department be actually able to track these 18 lakh accounts that you all claim are under the scanner? More importantly, was demonetization the only way of targeting this entire slew of black money that existed? Were there not other ways in which this could have been done? And a lot of the money exists in real estate, gold jewelry, not necessarily in cash. You ended up criminalizing cash. And according to former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh, this was a form of money laundering.
Rajdeep, what Sachin ji is calling spin, the people of India are calling confidence. And it is this confidence, this faith in this government, this faith in this government's ability to take bold, decisive decisions for the people of India that has translated in election after election, the Chandigarh municipal elections, the municipal elections in Maharashtra, followed by Uttar Pradesh, followed by Uttarakhand, followed by Manipur, Goa. In every election, what Sachin ji is calling spin, the people of India are saying this is what we want. Because it's working, our policies are working. We have elections coming up in Himachal, we have elections coming up in Gujarat. In a democracy, we welcome the views of the opposition, we welcome the opposition, their campaign. Let's all come to the people and let's figure out from the people what is spin, what is reality, and that the people of India are consistently telling us. Now, Rajdeep, back to Sachin's point about compliance and how is it that we can investigate and follow the trail. The reality is that the investigative abilities which languished under the UPA government have been immeasurably strengthened in our government through our big data analysis. The very fact that we found out about these 23 lakh accounts, the very fact that we've been able to shut down 2.24 lakh accounts, all of these things are happening because of our investigative capabilities, our big data capabilities, and be assured that we will trace these digital trails to the ends of the earth, as we are doing with the Panama Papers, as we'll do with the Paradise Papers, and we'll find the wrongdoers and make sure that they face justice. And the fact that we have 5% of their money, much of which is in real estate and gold and in dubious offshore accounts and so on, hidden, it's the cash that will enable us to be able to find where this other money is stored and really bring them to justice. So this is working. The people of India are appreciating it, and the very fact that people have put money into the bank accounts, we could never have anticipated, Rajdeep, we could never have anticipated, nobody could have anticipated that those who had black money would be in some ways foolish enough, thoughtless enough, perhaps imprudent and greedy enough to actually deposit their money in their bank accounts and open themselves up to this kind of investigation. But because of the resolute efforts, the broad-ranging efforts that our government has undertaken against black money, against corruption, we have got the ability through the automatic exchange of information with foreign jurisdictions, with the tax treaties that we've signed with other countries, the treaties that we've signed with Mauritius, Singapore, Cyprus, Malta, all of these offshore havens. We have the ability to be able to do these investigations and get to the bottom of where this money is being hidden and who are these people that are actually doing these kinds of things. So be assured that our fight against black money, against corruption, against all of the wrongdoing that has been happening is absolutely going to bring us results. And it is because it's bringing us results, because our tax base is growing. 91 lakh new taxpayers, Rajdeep, have joined our tax base. Our tax revenue is growing about 16% a year, which is unprecedented. It is because of those reasons that people trust us, and because taxes are going up, because revenue collection is going up, we are able to do for the people of India what they deserve, whether it is bijli, sadak, pani, swasth, shiksha, shauchalay, whatever is required, we are able to bring it to the people of India, the poor people of India that are entitled to get these benefits. I'll close on this particular comment, Rajdeep, by citing the following statistics. India's cash to GDP under the UPA kept on growing and growing and growing. It went from about 9% cash to GDP right up to almost 12% cash to GDP, which is a very, very alarming and disturbing trend. With us, after demonetization, cash to GDP is now down to 9.7%. Tax to GDP has finally started growing again, and it is because we are putting these numbers in balance, because we are moving to a modern 21st century open, formalized, transparent economy, that we can in fact give to people what they need, what they deserve. And that is why you're seeing election after election, we are winning. This is not spin, this is the faith of the people of India.
I'll come back to your belief that you are linking this to political electoral success in a moment, Mr. Sinha. I'm going to allow both of you equal time, so I want to turn to Sachin Pilot with my next question. Has demonetization pushed India towards a cashless digital economy? This question is also linked to my other question, Sachin Pilot, which you raised. Has demonetization helped identify counterfeit currency and control terrorism? Now, these are again government's gain. Government is claiming these are gains. Arun Jaitley says stone pelting has reduced after demonetization. Claims Naxalism has reduced after demonetization. And importantly, the Prime Minister claims that the cash to GDP ratio has come down. It was inordinately high. How do you respond? Do you see this as gains at all for the government?
But if you look at the Home Ministry's data, the acts of terror have increased 33% in the last 1 year. And 2 weeks after demonetization, 2,000 rupees were recovered from militants in Kashmir Valley. Now, the stated objective of demonetization was not e-payments and electronic transfer and digital transactions. That was only a post-thought. The initial thought was, how do we take fake currency? In fact, there is 0.00002% of fake currency which was detected. It has been an absolute failure in terms of the stated objectives. Now for the government to come and say that we have got more investigating capacities and we will now launch tax terrorism and investigate everybody who's got bank accounts, etc., is something that is never going to happen. I think the economy was anyway going sluggish. We had a recession coming up. And then to attack the economy with demonetization and on top of that a flawed GST, it's actually creating havoc in the smaller parts of India. I think the BJP and its leadership somehow is trying to get cut off by the reality of what's happening in Indian economy. To say that we won Jalandhar, Chandigarh, UP elections, fine, people believed in the government because they thought with all the money coming back into the banks, which by the way is a liability for the bank because they have to pay interest on this cash. This wasn't to recapitalize the banks, that's again a post-thought. The money coming back into the banks, people thought BJP wala jumla tha 15 lakh rupees in our bank accounts, we might get the first installment of that. That also didn't happen. So this has been spin after spin, jumla after jumla, and today to claim that by banning currency notes, we've done something fantastic. They said high denomination notes were the real birth for black money. You stop 1,000 and 500 and you start 2,000 rupee notes. Where is the logic for all of this? I think they're contradicting themselves and now giving data about Bijli Sadak Pani. It does not hold water. The specific action of demonetization, no economy of the size of India has ever done it before. And in fact, you only see BJP politicians praising this event. Any economist of any stature, domestic or international, has not even appreciated. In fact, they've denounced the Indian government for doing this. I am against black money and corruption. The government takes any step, we will support it. But the specific banning of currency notes, I think, was an ill-conceived thought that came into someone's mind and implemented without provision. In 50 days, 74 times the RBI changed notifications. The ATMs didn't have money. People were suffering in lines for their own cash. And this kind of trauma was let loose upon the Indian people. What is the end game today? After 1 year, they have had to have this event management of celebrating anti-black money day. Ministers are going all across the country. This jumla, event management, propaganda, government, I think ultimately people will see through it. Election victory and defeat does not justify a bad economic decision.
Therefore, let me then come to the central question. Has demonetization benefited or harmed the Indian economy? Jayant Sinha, 6 consecutive quarters GDP goes down. There are signs that manufacturing is still not picking up. There are enough signs and there are clear evidences from the Center for Monitoring Indian Economy that 1.5 million jobs were lost between January and April. Do you believe, therefore, will you concede that the short-term costs have been such? We don't know about the long-term gain, but the short-term costs have been such that the economy has been harmed rather than benefited.
Rajdeep, the long-term benefits are ongoing and continuous. and they will more than swamp the short-term costs. When you shift gears in an economy, we go through a period of adjustment, there will be a bit of a slowdown, but then we will get to fourth gear and the economy will begin to accelerate. The structural reforms that are necessary, that are required for our economy to be a modern 21st century competitive economy, those are the kinds of structural reforms that we have undertaken. And demonetization, which is formalizing the economy, making the economy much more transparent, much more compliant with relative to taxes, is extraordinarily important. Please understand, Rajdeep, and your viewers should understand, we as a country cannot progress when our tax to GDP is 16.5–17%. China is at 21–22%. OECD average is about 34–35%. A developed economy has a tax to GDP of 35%. We have half that. If we want to build a modern 21st century economy, provide people the services that they deserve, have global world-class infrastructure, we have to increase tax to GDP, and there was no other way that we could get the behavioral change that we've gotten in demonetization through.
But where is the behavioral
this
change?
Kind of one-time to behavior.
Do you really believe, Mr. Sinha, there has been behavioral change?
Yes,
because on the ground, according to Sachin Pilot, the informal sector has been hit, agriculture has been hit, the small man has been hit, the trader has been hit, is what the Congress is alleging today. That's where they say the Indian economy, which was poised for takeoff, now is in an economy which is stagnating or possibly in decline.
Rajdeep, those are allegations. They are not supported by the data, and no reputable economist, whether it is Dr. Manmohan Singh or anyone else, can come to any economic conclusions on the overall impact of demonetization, because I am a scientist myself. I'm an engineer by training, and I know how complex systems behave. I know how big data models are run, and nobody has the data. Nobody can disentangle the impact of demonetization from all the other things that are happening in the economy, including GST, and say this is the cause and effect. It's simply not possible scientifically to come to any such conclusion. People can come to snap judgments all they want. Those are usually colored by prejudice or ideology. We should not succumb to that. What I'm saying is, it's a very plausible narrative, a very plausible argument to say that the one-time hit of demonetization, Dr. Manmohan Singh himself on the floor of Parliament said that that was about 2% of GDP. If that's the one-time hit, against that we can place the continuous positive impact on the economy of lower interest rates, higher tax collection, more financialization of assets, lower counterfeit currency, and so on and so forth. You look at those ongoing effects. If you were to capitalize those back and say, even if GDP has been boosted by 25 basis points, 30, 40 basis points, that will swamp the one-time hit of 2%, which I'm not granting. That is just an assessment. It is just a quick calculation that has probably been done. In fact,
no, it's showing, the data shows.
In his essay in the Mint yesterday said that the economic effect is inestimable. No, he himself has said it's inestimable. It cannot be estimated, which is the reasonable, responsible, scientific view on the economic impact. There are plausible arguments to be made on both sides, and I can make a very good argument that the positive impact, pure economic impact of demonetization will swamp the negative hit. But I will come back, Rajdeep, and I want to conclude by once again saying that it was necessary to impose a behavioral change, because otherwise we would not move to a new normal of higher compliance and improve India's tax to GDP ratio.
Can I therefore come to my final question, which is very simple, and it's linked to what you just said, Mr. Sinha, and I want to take that to Mr. Pilot. Has demonetization weakened or strengthened Prime Minister Modi? Sachin Pilot, the BJP's argument, and we've heard it from Jayant Sinha today, is we won election after election, almost every election barring Punjab, since demonetization was introduced. The people have accepted it. How do you respond to that? That this is the new normal, this is structural reform, this is a high-risk strategy, it has strengthened Prime Minister Modi, he is no longer the suit boot ki sarkar, he is targeting in a way those with cash.
I don't know of anybody who will call banning currency notes as a reform. It wasn't a reform, it was just a unthought out policy change that the government adopted, which was very ham-handed. And I think in a country where agriculture is tax-free, to expect us to meet standard of OECD countries is actually is unbelievable, because you have income that is taxable and you have income that's untaxable. So I think let's not complicate. It's not that complex. You don't need scientific intelligence to understand what's happening today. If anybody who feels that people who died waiting for their money in ATM lines, people whose shops are shut down, daily wages, reedi walas, thela walas, dukandars, small businesses, MSME sector, they're not suffering because of the money ban, then they have their own reality. And to keep us spinning that, we win election after election, it has nothing to do with the credibility of a policy change like demonetization. I think everybody understands that this was done not to help the economy, but just to show how decisive you can be. And sometimes you fall victim of your own propaganda. I don't think your victory in UP can be accredited to demonetization. We have to look at that action in isolation. 8,000 crores is being spent to print new notes. Did we need to do this? Are there not other ways to track black money? Can you not do other things, make laws, make more stringent bylaws, etc.? All of that could have happened where we are today. We could have very well gotten here without hurting the common person. And to believe that they are doing justice to the people of India by banning currency notes is absolutely unpalatable. And I don't believe anybody believes that the BJP has really thought this through. In fact, the RBI's credibility has been demolished. They didn't know whether they were coming or going. We still don't know who actually ordered the money ban, because the RBI's domain is to announce demonetization, but the government of India did that. There is confusion in the economy and we haven't recovered from that. And in India, which has so much potential, could have been up to 8, 9, 10% GDP growth today, is actually falling back because of this one single action, which has caused misery to millions and tens of millions of people. I think time will come. Election victory cannot be used to justify a wrong decision. Banning currency notes was not required. It was done in haste, and all the stated objectives of terrorism, Naxalism, fake currency and everything, all the black money has fallen flat. So now we've come back to digital payments and how politically BJP is getting very strong and people of India are with the BJP. They're ruling government. They've got clear majority. Of course they must take decisions, but not the ones that harm the poorest of the poor. And when the time comes, people will vote with their feet.
When the time comes, people will vote with their feet. I think I've given both of you equal time, which was my desire, and I'm glad there was no cross-talk, because as a result, I think the viewers have finally got an idea where the two parties stand, why one party is calling this anti-black money day, the other is calling it a black day. Jayant Sinha, Sachin Pilot, appreciate both of you joining us here on the news today. Thanks very much for joining me. And my take, where do I stand? Demonetization was ostensibly shock treatment for a patient suffering from the ailment of black money-itis. While politically it may have benefited Prime Minister Modi, its economic costs, both short and long term, remain uncertain. It was a bold, disruptive move at the time, but the line between being bold and foolhardy is a thin one, which is why high-risk decisions need more careful vetting and greater consultation. Let economists now debate the merits of Notbandi. My question is more basic. Do we really need to resort to the constant event management of government decisions? Trapped between a negativist opposition and a Sarkar in perpetual self-congratulatory mode, the citizen or the Aam Aadmi must wonder, how have I, the honest Indian taxpayer, really gained in the last year? Could we have a bipartisan white paper on demonetization placed in the public domain, one based on hard facts and not on rhetoric? That's the very least the 100+ faceless Indians who died in bank queues really deserve.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.